Hello, and welcome to Rocket Root webinar series. Let's give it a minute for people to join. Hello again, ladies and gentlemen. This is the latest webinar from Rocket Root. Its name is Quick Way to the Runway, and we will show you how to set up the account and create a flight plan. So I will be your presenter today. My name is Rostislav. I'm with Rocket Root for almost 4 years on a role sales support executive. So let's go through the agenda. First thing, we will cover aircraft setup, then account and briefing pack settings, introduction to map, creating a flight plan, step by step to file, and questions and answers. Please use the provided functional to ask questions, and we will try to cover those during the webinar. If not, we will send you the email with all the answers. Thank you. So let's start. This is our landing page, so let's start setting up your account from adding the aircraft. For this, we need to go to More, Aircraft. Here you'll see that you have one default aircraft already added to your account for testing, but it's better to add your own aircraft, so click on Add. Here we'll need to input the tail number of the aircraft. So for me, that would be Test 2. Now we are able to choose the aircraft manufacturer and model, or you can input just the ICAO type. So let's put in Pilatus PC-12. Those in green means that we have the advanced profiles for those aircraft. So let's choose one of those. Now we are able to choose the fuel units that will be used for the aircraft in future. So here we have gallons per hour, liters per hour, pounds per hour, kilograms per hour. So let's keep the pounds per hour for the testing. Under this section, we can do the setup of the aircraft itself. So here we are able to change the aircraft registration number if needed. You can input the reference for the aircraft, as well the default flight number, or you can choose the flight rules that will be used. Here is the type of the aircraft, so we already preset up this, but if you have specific markings, you can input it here. Under the profile, you can set up the cruise speed, performance, preferred flight level, minimum flight level, and maximum flight level for your aircraft. Here is the equipment section. So by putting a mark here, you're able to add the equipment which you have on board of your aircraft. Search and rescue section. So for search and rescue, the pilot in command is actually the user of the account itself as a default. But if you have crew, you can choose it from here. As well, you're able to choose the first officer and extra crew members if you have any. Under the survival equipment, you can add the actual equipment that you have there on board, the emergency radios and jackets, for example. Here is the mass and balance section. So under the mass and balance section, you can input the maximum ramp mass, the maximum takeoff mass, landing mass, zero fuel mass as well. So if you need to add an additional category here, you're clicking on Add More. Here you just need to put the name of the line and put the default mass or end arm. As well, you're able to put the maximum limit for this section. If you're flying the same with the same people on board, you can input their default masses, so you won't need to do that each time when you do the flight planning. Here is the fuel balance table, which can be edited, of course, the fuel envelope, and the percentage of MAC. Under the fuel performance, we can see that we have advanced fuel here. So we've chosen the green one from the drop-down list. As well, here you can change the fuel units. You can put the default initial fuel, the final reserve fuel, and as well you can input the contingency, the approach fuel, for example. You can change the holding time. Here you have the COPS section. So here you're able to put the glide speed, the glide ratio, the altitude of glide cone based on landing side. Under the operator, you can input the operator details, the owner details. Under the flight log, you can choose the default flight log that will be used for your further flight planning. As well, you can do the preview of the one that you chosen. And in the section Other, this is of course optional to fill in. You can input the information if you need it. So let's save the aircraft, and after that we'll be able to go to the data settings and check which calculations will be used, which fuel calculations will be used for your further flight planning. So going back to fuel and performance one more time, advanced data, view and edit. So here is the calculations that are used for fuel flow. So all those calculations are taken from the POH of the aircraft. Here we have stages, so that will be climb, cruise, descent, drift down, single engine cruise, and holding. Here is the power settings for the aircraft and mass section. So this makes the calculations done by Rocket one of the most exact ones on the market. And of course, all of those stages and power settings, they are depending on the aircraft itself. All of this is pre-set up by our professional data team, so you can be sure that this information is sufficient. Now let's click on Save. Once we save it, let's go to the Accounts and Settings section. For this, we click More, Accounts and Settings. Here under the Account and Settings section, if you didn't do the phone verification, please do that since you won't be able to file flight plans. Now let's go to sign-in details. So here you are able to change the email address, change your password, or the language. Here is the billing section. So once you make the order, you'll have the history of billing here. Here is your billing information. As well, here is the personal details section, where you are able to add your travel documents, license, its validation. Here is the settings section. So first thing is our auto-routing function. In the auto-router, you're able to avoid sharp turns. You can choose the default avoidance area. For this, you need to put in the 2-letter fare prefix, 4-letter fare code, or 3-letter ISO country code. As well, you're able to auto sit or auto start, so you can choose the longest sit or shorter sit as well. Same information for start. Here you're able to auto insert the crossing points by 5, 10 degrees or switch it off. Here is the section where you're able to choose the flight log. For most of our clients, we have 2 flight logs available: Private Pilot Portrait and Private Pilot Landscape. This is available only to our turboprop clients. Here you're able to choose the pilot and command approval text. You can correct it as well as for operations. You can add the overflight report if you need it. Use the wind settings by 0 wind or forecast the 5 days. Now let's go to the briefing pack. So under the briefing pack, you're able to add the flight log to the briefing pack, route map, en route charts, notes and briefings, mass and balance. You can use to display all the rows even if they are 0. You can change the matter, TAF, and SIGMAT settings by RAV decoded or en route. You can add a weather station by CNOP. You can add passenger tickets as well, JANDEC, GAR, or ABIS, depending on where you're flying. Here you're able to add your own branding. Here is our notification manager. So under those settings, you're able to receive different sort of notifications, which can be sent by SMS or email. You can add additional phone numbers or additional emails to receive those notifications. So here you can receive the notifications about acknowledgement, route, manual, rejections, slot, departures, suspensions. You can receive notification about sending arrival message and send 15-minute warnings. As well, you're able to send the track links for your flights. Under the system settings, you can adjust those as well. So let's save our settings. After saving the settings, we are now able to create our first flight plan. For this, we need to go to Flights, New Flight. So on the right-hand side, we can see the map. Here are the map settings. So here we are able to choose the map layout. So that can be terrain, road map, outline, satellite. Let's stick to terrain here. We can switch on the airports. So that can be a IFR, IFR plus VFR, helipads, or all. So now we can see all the IFR airports. As well here, we are able to switch on the waypoints. Those are the waypoints available in our database. So this is the information on the waypoint itself. So as well, we are able to switch on the lower airways. or upper airways. Here you're able to enable fear, switch on Mora, as well you're able to turn on the NOTAMs to see more information on the route that you'll be flying. Airspace, as well you can switch on the VRPs. Click on them to receive more information. User waypoints, if you inserted any. OFMA VFR map. If you scroll inside, you'll receive more information on that. You can as well switch on the user-defined areas and user-avoid areas if you have added those. The high IFR and low IFR. Here you're able to see the radar weather, the information about lightning, and you can switch on the radar and lightning both together. From the map settings as well, you can measure the distances. For example, let's do the distance between Warsaw and Prague. As well, you can adjust this. So you'll have two separate lines with distances on it. Here we have the list of charts that will be available for you once you purchase them. So in order to apply the chart, you just need to put a check mark here, and this will be applied. So to see more information, you just need to scroll into the chart, and the information will be displayed. So let's go back and start preparing a flight plan. Now let's move to creating a flight plan. So for the first flight plan, let's make an IFR flight plan. So let's choose the aircraft from the list. Let it be PC-12. We need to input the departure and destination airport. So let's make it from Warsaw to Austria. And let's make a target flight level, let's say 240. Here we have one route already available from our system, but you need to check the validity of this route. As well, you need to input the date of flying. So let's make it 19th of May, for example. And the time, let it be 17 by Zulu. The flight rules, as mentioned, let it be IFR. And the type of flying, that would be general. So now let's click on Auto Route button. The auto route usually takes a few seconds to find a variety of routes for your flight. Yes, so the autorouter found us 6 routes. Let's see what we have here. So the routes are sorted on top. By clicking on each of those, you'll have those displayed on map. As we can see, the autorouter even selected the seat and star for our route. So let's go with this one. To see more information about the route, you can click on departure. This would be the set for departure. We can actually click it on here to see if this was the most efficient one. Let's go down by our route. So this will be our destination airport. So let's click on star for this one. As we can see, this would be the shortest route for sit and star. Now if we'll go down, we're able to see the autorouter sections. So if you need to change anything here, you're able to do so before doing the route. As well, you're able to set up the auto sit and auto start if you don't like the selection that provided by our autorouter. You can actually choose the sit and start from the drop-down list. You can input the alternative airports. This is the performance profile that will be used for calculating your fuel. As we can see here, that would be the cruise climb calculations. For cruise, we have maximum cruise power. And for descent, we have the simple descent profile. Here you're able to put the fuel mass and balance for this flight. So you are able to choose from manual, minimum of block fuel, and maximum of block fuel. Let's go with maximum here. So here we have a drop down with all the information about fuel consumption. What will be your extra fuel? What is the required taxi fuel? The burns of fuel and the landing fuel if you would need to, for example, fly one more leg. You see that you'll have enough fuel for doing so. So let's see the mass and balance. This is our mass and balance envelope for this flight. So as well, you're able to put in the mass changes. So for example, you can put here passengers. And let's say we'll make it the passenger 1 weight, passenger 2, 3, and 4. Once you do any changes in the mass and balance or fuel calculations, you need to click on Apply and Recalculate. Once you apply and recalculate, you'll see that the mass and balance envelope changes. So here we can see that we are a bit outside of mass and balance envelope. so you can make the adjustments. Let's do the recalculation once again. Yes, so this time we can see that we are inside of our fuel mass and balance envelope. And by doing those adjustments, we can see that those reflected on our flight log. On the flight log, you can see all the calculations of fuel consumption, the wind and temperature changes. As well, if you need to add extra crew members, you can do it here. So, for example, we've put 4 people on board, so with a pilot, that makes it 5. Here are the field 18 remarks. So, putting those remarks here will be automatically put in your flight plan and will be sent to the authorities. On the field 19, the search and rescue, you're able to adjust the endurance, manual endurance selection, and as well, you're able to double check the survival equipment. So now we are able to go to the next step. Here you have services that are available at the airport. So with Rocket Route, you can do ordering of those services. By clicking on those, this will redirect you to our marketplace, where you can do the order from the handler. By doing those simple steps, you're able to file the flight plan. We won't file it here, so let's go on the previous step and save the flight plan. So when saving the flight plan, you're able to see the passenger information. You can add as many passengers as you would need for the flight. Just need to put the first name, last name, gender, mobile phone, and email, but those are not required. As well, the travel documents. From here, you can as well upload documents. You can see your flight log. You can once more see the mass and balance envelope. As well, you can check for the NOTAMs. Those NOTAMs are just for this single flight. Here you're able to do the briefing pack. This will download the full briefing pack. Once your briefing pack is downloaded, you can open it in the PDF. See all the information about the flight itself, winds, METAR, route, probability of icing, NOTAM information, once more the route with sit and start, mass and balance envelope, the actual flight plan, As well, you're able to download parts of the flight plan. As well, you're able to download the parts of the briefing. So here you can download full briefing, or you can choose just those pieces that you need for your flight. As well, here you're able to download the plates for the airport. So, for example, let's go with the plates for our ADAP. The plates are downloaded in zip format, so let's open it. Here is all the plates information that Rocketry has in our database. So all the information is taken from the AIP airport. Let's close it. Once we have downloaded all the needed information, we can send it to our piloting command or save it to your device. As well, you can export the route. So by exporting the route, you can use the uplink, or you can download it for Garmin device, iRing, CSV, or AvMap, as well as GPX. So let's save our flight plan and leave it here. Once the flight plan is saved, you'll have it displayed on All Flights page, which is actually the landing page. From here, you can use the Edit option, you can reuse it, or make a next flight. When making a next flight, this will take the ADAS and make it as departure port. Now it's time for our Q&A. Our team on the background answered the questions that we received during the webinar. If you don't find your question here, don't worry. We will send you an email answering all of your questions. If you still have a question, you can send it to our email, which is sales@rocketroute.com. And if you would like to know more about Rocketroute, you can visit our blog. So let's go to our question list. First one, I would like a trial. How can I get it? You need to contact our sales team and we'll be happy to arrange it for you. Is your service covering only Europe? No, we provide a worldwide coverage so you can file and prepare flight plans all over the world. Is it only a web version or can I download an app to my iPad? We have an iOS and Android versions of our app, and actually it is available not just for tablets, but for phones as well. All the data is synchronized, so once you do a change, it will reflect on all of your device. What will I get when I purchase your product? You will get a professional tool for flight planning with access to weather, NOTAMs, airport plates, creating briefing packs, and many else. All the content depends on the membership type that you choose. Will a copy of the webinar be available? Yes, you'll receive a recording of this event to your email in the next few days. So now thank you for your attention, and if you have any questions, please feel free to contact us. You can send us an email to sales@rocketroute.com, or you can visit our blog and subscribe for our social media to get the latest information. Once more, thank you, and wish you all the best.